Hi, I hope you're doing well. Today we will talk about franchise. Now, in addition to franchise, I would like to talk about two more ways of starting a business as well. They are starting a business from the scratch. Let's say it's a brand new business, and also buying an existing business. And we're going to talk about the pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages of both. And then we will talk about franchise. Now, if you want to start a business, uh, then franchise can be an option. Um, we always think about franchise business and we think about how we can start a franchise business as a franchisee. A franchisee meaning the independent owner, the business owner will run an already established business, right? But in addition to that, what you can think about is maybe you build your own business, a new business, a business from the scratch. You build it and you do a great job. The business grows. There's a good bit of demand of that particular business, particular product, service, and now you want to expand your business, right? Now, one way to expand the business, a successful business, could be through franchising. In this case, you are not a franchisee. In this case, you are a franchisor. Um, Others will run the business the way you set it. You're gonna lend the license to the franchisee individuals or companies who are going to run the business the way uh, you would like them to run. So when we talk about franchise, both options are the possibilities. Uh, Being a franchisee, and of course, being a franchisor, because you want to expand your business, a successful business. You did a great job. And one way you can do that is through franchising. And we're going to talk about some examples as well. So let me share the screen because I do have a few slides. I wanted to show you the slides as I talk. So let me go ahead and share the screen. All right. So let me see if I can make it full screen. All right. So today's main topic is the franchise model, business model. Uh, but like I said, I'm going to talk about the other two options as well. So if you take a look at this slide, this person has two options: work for someone else, meaning job, right? Or start your own business. Now, if you want to start your own business, you can have three options. You can start a new business from the scratch. You can acquire an established business, meaning you buy an existing business. Uh, and there could be some good reasons to do so. There could be reasons not to do so as well. So we're going to talk about that. And then buy a franchise. So you become a franchisee. And I told you that, you know, becoming a franchisee is one option. Another option is you be the franchisor. So that's an option as well. But that takes, um, you can imagine, longer time. That means your business needs to grow substantially. It has to be a successful business. It has to have a fair bit of demand in the market, and you would like to expand the business, and franchise would be the way of expansion. Now, um, okay, let's come to this slide a little later. First, let's talk about starting a business from the scratch. So, let's say you have a great idea, uh, and there's a very, very um, interesting situation in the market. You have that idea to take care of the market need, the market demand, and you can do it wonderfully well. You have that business idea, you have the business plan, you want to launch that business. You Like I said, you have the total plan, and you could manage the financing. You could convince, let's say, the lenders, or maybe investors, such as equity investors, such as maybe the VCs, or maybe the angel investors, or maybe you have your personal savings. Um, Whichever way the financing would work for you, everything is set and you're confident to launch a business. The idea that you had, go ahead. So that is, you start a business, which is a new business. You started from the scratch. Now you have to work on the important parts of the business. If you think about the um, four P's of, let's say, marketing, for example, you have to develop the product or the service, you have to set the price, you have to think about the promotion, and then you have to think about the place, as in distribution. So you have to build it. You have to build. Uh, you have to create the collaborations. You have to create the networking. You have to have the right suppliers, vendors, because you'll need them. So you can do that, and that's totally understandable. That's totally doable. And this is how it actually works, right? And it can start as a small business, and over time it can grow. Today when we talk about franchise, I'm gonna give you an example that essentially started as a sole proprietorship business, a small sole proprietorship business. Then it led to a partnership business. Then, it was a general partnership business, and then it turned out to be a limited liability partnership business. And then they did so well that they wanted to expand their business, so they introduced the franchise model. Ultimately, they incorporated the business, and they made it a public company. So from a very small sole proprietorship business, it grew to a very large public company. So it's totally possible. We see that all the time. So you have to decide which direction you're gonna take. If you're very entrepreneurial, if you love to innovate, if you have interesting ideas and you want to turn your ideas into a business plan, and you do have the funding options in place, or you want to convince the investors to fund the business, definitely you should take the new business route, because you can address the particular need of the market. You can address that problem better than anybody else. So you should start that. Um, in business, we talk about a concept called blue ocean strategy. I'm pretty sure you are familiar with blue ocean strategy. It means competition is irrelevant here. We are the Think about the blue ocean. It's just the blue water. There is no competition, and there's a interesting need in the market, and you can address that need through your business. So then launch your business and address the problem. Once you do that, there will be competitors because now you are showing the world how to do it. So people definitely would try to compete with you. Some of them may even imitate you and so on. So you'll constantly innovate. Like I always say, that you cannot stop innovating. You have to do it as you progress. So that is starting a new business, starting a business from the scratch. If you feel like doing it, definitely this is the way to go. Now, maybe you want to acquire an established business, meaning maybe you want to buy an existing business. So if I ask you, what would be some good reasons to buy an existing business? Why would somebody buy an existing business as opposed to starting a business from the scratch? And there could be many good reasons, and here are some examples for you. Now, a business is on sale, or the business is selling itself doesn't necessarily mean that the business is performing bad. That doesn't mean that there's something really wrong with the business. There could be many reasons why maybe the business owners are selling the business. So you have to do your due diligence to really understand what the situations are and whether it'll be worthwhile to actually buy the business. But if we think about it positively, you can you can think about a few points such as if a business is ongoing, personnel are already working in the business. The facilities are already available. The product or service uh, that's part of that business, they're already there. They are part of the existing business, right? Existing market and so on. So they're already there. Now, uh, maybe they are in a great location. So the location is maybe very, very desirable, and you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that location. And the relationships have been established with the stakeholders, financial institutions, uh, the trade creditors, uh, the suppliers, vendors. They already have the system in place. So that is something you might like to think about. You, like I said, you have to do a thorough research. You have to do your due diligence to really understand the overall circumstances of that business. Um, Revenues and profits are being generated, and most importantly, maybe a very strong goodwill exists in the business. Because goodwill is something that is precious, that's priceless, right? So if it's true. If these things are in place, then it could be an interesting business to buy, to consider buying. So you can do that. Now, like I said, that business owners want to sell a business does not is wrong with the business. There could be many reasons, right? Maybe when you buy the business, you can take it to the next level. You can uh, do the things. You can add value. You can add value to the business so that it 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 does a good job moving forward. So now you have to decide what you want to do with with this business. Do you want to buy it or not? So it's a kind of a lot of things could be ready-made. You don't necessarily have to uh, build it from the scratch. Think about it that building uh, supply chain. It's a big project to build a supply chain for a uh, new business. So you're building a business from the scratch, right? So you have to build a supply chain. Now, if the supply chain is already available and you're satisfied with that, that's exactly how you like it, then you might like to consider whether it makes sense to you or not. So what I would say is a crucial part about buying an existing business would be thorough research, background research, and the due diligence you need to perform to assess whether it will be worthwhile to go this direction or not. Maybe it's totally worthwhile, maybe it's absolutely not. So we cannot say that until we do the thorough research. Now let's talk about franchise. So as I at the beginning I was telling you that two ways you can think about franchise. One is being a franchisee, that you would own a uh, franchise's name, the distinctive elements of that franchise business, the license. You're going to own the license. You operate the business. You're an operator. You operate the business the way franchisor tells you to do. Now, so we need to distinguish between franchisor and franchisee. So franchisor is the main owner of the business. Now, franchisee is the independent business person who agrees to use the, you know, the what's it called, the business name, the uh, wait, the business name, the trademark, and everything the franchisor provides. So that's one way that you be a franchisee, that as a business person, you run the franchisor's business the way franchisor sets it. So you can imagine there's a little lack of independence. If you love to innovate, if you uh, love that entrepreneurial independence, then maybe being a franchisee could be a little difficult for you, because you need to think about what is allowed by the franchisor, what is not allowed by the franchisor, and there's a big document by the franchisor. It's called the franchisors disclosure document, FDD. So, but they have all the information provided in that document so that you understand that what could be done, what could not be done, and so on. So that's being a franchisee. Another thing, like I mentioned, that you start your own business. Either you started from the scratch, you grow the business, or you purchased an existing business and you took it to the next level. It grew and it did so well. There's a huge market demand. Now it's a good time to expand the business. And one way you can expand the business is through franchising, essentially giving the license to the franchisee to operate the business the way you would like them to operate. You have been operating it in a way, and now through franchising, they're gonna do it, and you're gonna demonstrate how they're gonna do that. So both are options in a franchise model for us, being a franchisee and also being a franchisor. So I think the two terms are very clear at this point. Uh, the franchisor is the architect, franchisee is the operator. So again, uh, we're going to talk about the the requirements, the fees involved, uh, and the benefits that a franchisee can get from a franchisor. So we're gonna talk about all these things. But before that, let me give you an interesting example of a franchise business. It's a fast food business, US based, mainly US based. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called Sonic. It was built in the 1990s, 1954, in Oklahoma, United States. And uh, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, that this particular franchise started as a small sole proprietorship business. Then it became a partnership. It was actually a general partnership business. And in the 1990s in the United States, there was a provision called limited liability partnership to protect the partners from liability of the other partners act or wrongful act. So they made it a limited liability partnership company. There's a limited liability agreement. And then they incorporated it, made it a public company, made it a franchise, and so on. So from a very small company, it grew really as a large company and did really well. So let's watch a video clip where it's going to explain you the origin of this particular franchise business, how it evolved, how it thought about making it a franchise model, franchise business, what facilities it provides to its franchisees, and how the franchisees get benefited by operating this particular business. And then we will talk about the nitty-gritties of the franchise business. So let me see if I can play that video clip about Sonic. The term Sonic, you can imagine, it means service at the speed of sound. So you can imagine that's their unique selling proposition, right? So they are serving the food very fast, very quickly at the speed of sound, and in a very innovative way, unique way. And from the video clip, you'll understand that. Particularly if you think about the 1950s, during that time, they introduced these innovative features of a particular, uh, you know, it's not like drive-through restaurant, it's more of a drive-in, meaning you'll park the car and the food will be served at the car, and there are some places to sit around. The restaurant is very small, but the parking lot and the places to sit is the main attraction, the unique selling proposition. So let's take a look at this video clip to get a good understanding of a franchise business. Then we will go into the details. So let me see if I can play the video. It's right here.
There is no expression of the American dream quite so basic as that of owning your own business. Many people who tackle this challenge do it by opening a restaurant. And there is no restaurant so quintessentially American as the Old Burger and Shake Drive-In. But the majority of restaurants actually fail within the first year. To have a better chance of success, you might consider choosing a restaurant idea that's been proven and one that has the backing and support of an existing team. Yet, the more people you involve, the less you'll control your new business. In this critical investment decision, you have to carefully choose the form that your business will take. Sonic is the largest chain of drive-in fast food restaurants in the United States, with over 3,500 locations in 44 states across the country. Most of those restaurants are individually owned and operated, just like the first one, founded by Troy Smith in Shawnee, Oklahoma in 1954.
I think Troy, like anybody else, it's an American dream to have your own business. And he saw early on all the promise that the restaurant industry held.
After coming back from World War II, he took a job as a milkman, but he quickly realized that he wanted to run a business of his own. Over the next several years, Troy opened a number of restaurants in an effort to find out what worked best for him. But he ran these businesses by himself as sole proprietorships. He got to make all the choices, but he had no one to help him make the restaurants truly great. And ultimately, those first ventures all failed. Eventually, Troy bought a 5-acre gravel lot.
And on this property, he actually had a steakhouse and also a root beer stand.
That root beer stand was called the Top Hat Drive-In, and it sat next to the log cabin that Troy turned into an upscale steakhouse. Troy almost tore the stand down to make more room for parking, but he took a closer look at the business and he realized that would be a huge mistake.
He quickly saw the root beer stand was a much more profitable business venture, and that's why he went forward with Top Hat.
Troy's first idea to improve Top Hat came to him at a hamburger stand in Louisiana, where the owner had rigged some intercom speakers that allowed customers to place orders from inside their cars. Back at the Top Hat, Troy's customers had to park far away and walk across the gravel lot to the restaurant. So he commissioned a set of speakers for himself and took the idea back to Oklahoma, added a canopy to the parking lot, and hired servers to bring food directly to customers' cars. The changes were such a hit that revenue went through the roof. More importantly, though, they impressed local grocer Charlie Papp, and the two formed a partnership where Troy improved the business and Charlie did the sales. Over the next few years, the pair opened several more Top Hats around Oklahoma. Then something unexpected happened.
As they looked to grow the business further and were going to go to incorporate, they found out that Top Hat was already trademarked as a restaurant brand.
In cases where legal challenges become successful lawsuits, general partners can sometimes lose everything: the business, the investment, even their homes. Fortunately, Troy and Charlie were covered by a limited partnership agreement, which protected their personal assets if the business ran into such trouble, though they could still lose their restaurant. The more robust protections of a limited liability partnership, such as each partner being protected from liability over the other partner's mistakes, that wouldn't exist until the 1990s. So, deciding that it was better to be safe than sorry, they agreed to change the name of the business.
Troy and his partner Charlie said, what can we choose? What represents the brand? And they said, we always want our service to be so fast. Service at the speed of sound. Sonic.
Sonic restaurants, with service at the speed of sound, were born. Soon, other people were expressing interest in opening their own Sonic restaurants as well. Far too many people to take on as additional partners. So, to grow the business, Troy and Charlie were going to have to think bigger. They decided to take on franchisees.
When Sonic's looking for a new franchisee, we'll look at the experience. Have they been in the restaurant or retail industries? Also their financial abilities and capabilities to make sure they can finance the business, get it started, and make sure it's on a great path for success.
Here's how a franchise agreement works. Somebody with a great business idea, like Troy, signs an agreement with an interested party that lets that person, the franchisee, use all the basic intellectual property of the business, like the brand, logo, menu, and suppliers, in exchange for an agreement to closely follow a strict set of quality and product guidelines. This agreement allows a franchisee to walk into an already successful business with a lot of the groundwork already done, in exchange for losing a lot of control over the broader aspects of the business. For example, the franchisee can choose where to build their Sonic, but gets expert help from the home office to decide on precisely which property will work best in that market.
Sonic works with its franchisees to help choose locations, both kind of the art and the science of it. You want to be in those parts of town that are growing or are newly developed, and that's where the local perspective of a franchisee comes in. Usually no one knows their hometown better than someone that lives there.
That makes the franchisee the local, friendly face of the national brand. They manage the day-to-day operations of their business without having to spend precious startup resources on the bigger picture.
Well, put the top down, Pete. It's summertime.
The top is down, TJ.
Well, put it up, man. It's blowing my hair everywhere.
Okay.
This is how you Sonic.
The beauty of being a Sonic franchisee is you get all the value of that big brand, but it's still your business. And we feel that's the best combination out there. We take care of the marketing and advertising and product development, and we look for franchisees that are going to deliver that great Sonic service and make sure every customer leaves with a smile.
Today, Sonic has thousands of franchisees from all walks of life in every corner of America. The combination of great support and flexibility of allowing the franchisee to run their own business in the market where they live and interact with their community has made Sonic a rare national chain that still feels like a mom-and-pop place when you're dining there. This flexibility allows franchisees to focus on building their business rather than the brand or the corporation, thus allowing them to become financially successful. successful enough perhaps to open even more Sonics.
We're looking both for those that just want to own one restaurant and one drive-in, or those that would like to get larger. And we see it happen where folks come in and maybe they just want to open one, but they have some great success and they look to open additional restaurants to build upon that success. But what's great is that whether it's 1 or 100, there's a spot for you at Sonic.
Sonic Restaurants started as the brainchild of Troy Smith in a little town in Oklahoma. From his first sole proprietorship that he ran alone, to taking on a partner, to awarding franchises to interested parties, incorporating, and eventually becoming a successful public company doing millions in business each week. Sonic has chosen the right form of business at every step of its evolution. Maybe that's why Sonic continues to grow at the speed of sound.
The future for Sonic looks so bright. We've got a 60-year track record of success, and that's because of great food, friendly service. But we also know it's a whole new day out there and a whole new group of consumers we want to appeal to. So we're incorporating new technologies that will make the Sonic experience better than ever, that will truly create the 21st century drive-in.
All right, so that was Sonic. So it's quite a story, right? About this particular uh, fast food franchise. Now, let me go ahead and go back to the slides. Let me make it full screen. So, a few interesting things about Sonic. It the franchise for somebody to become a franchisee of Sonic, for example, they look for experience to begin with in the food industry, and these are very common requirements, by the way, since we're talking about um, food sector, fast food chain franchise. Uh, it's fairly common, be it Sonic or be it McDonald's, Burger King, Subway. Um, they usually they look for some experience. Number one. Number two is the financial ability. I think that's a very important part because in this slide you can see the franchisee, the operator is. They do have some financial obligation. It's a the main thing about the franchise model, right? And we're going to talk about what those obligations are uh, for the franchisee. So financial ability of the franchisee. The franchisee will manage the business on a day-to-day basis. The franchisee can think about the location, and Sonic, in this particular case, the home office, the headquarter, assists the franchisee with the location, the let's say the legal part, the logistics, the formal procedures. They're gonna assist, and then the franchisor is going to provide some other things as well. And you can think of it as an advantage or a disadvantage because the Sonic franchisee will have to take the marketing facility, advertising facility, product development facility, supply chain facility from the corporate Sonic. So you can think about it as a advantage, huge advantage, or you can think that okay, you know what, I do not have a lot of flexibility. I have my business is very structured, and I have to follow the prescription given by the head office, the headquarter, the home office of Sonic, for example. So that's where some you know, questions will arise whether it's gonna really work for you um, becoming a franchisee, right? So now let's see what we have in the next slide. So now we learned about Sonic, but in general, now if we come back to a general discussion again, then why people go for a franchise business as a franchisee? What are some reasons why? You can imagine uh, one simple reason would be it's a proven business, successful method of business, successful operation, image of the business, reputation of the business. Now you can have the license and you can operate it, and that means the franchisor is giving you that license to operate the business. So they'll be very careful because their reputation is in the franchisee's hand. So they got to make sure they give the license to the right individual, the right hand, the right person, right? So the franchise has uh, its own requirements. We already talked about it. So you got to think about those reasons why a franchise can be an attractive business model for many people. And the main thing you can imagine is the proven name, the brand, the method, the image, the reputation, the goodwill. These are very, very important. At the same time, you might like to think about what could be some reasons for not pursuing a franchise business model. Uh, Maybe you love your what's it called? Innovation, the sense of innovation that you have. Now, you just think about Sonic, our example. Uh, you cannot introduce the food items the way you want. You have to introduce the food items that Sonic wants, not what you want. So you don't have a lot of flexibility. You have to follow the uh, the way Sonic headquarter tells you to. So it's a lack of independence, lack of flexibility. So, and that can be a problem. Many people do not feel very comfortable when the independence and flexibility as a business person is limited. And then we were talking about it, the franchise cost, and I'm gonna talk about exactly what type of costs we are talking about. And then maybe you need to do a lot of market research. If the market is saturated, then you might like to think again whether it would be a good investment or not. The cost of merchandise. That could be costly, and again, very structured. Think about the supply chain; could be very, very structured. A lot of time what happens is the franchisor exaggerates the financial success, so you have to do your own research, you have to do your due diligence. You make sure that it's not an exaggeration, it's the reality, and then you make the decision whether you want to pursue a franchise model or not. And then think about the contract restrictions. What type of products are allowed to offer? What are the termination clause? What are the remodeling clause, like renovation, updating the franchise location? You might like to know all these details, right? So a franchise business has its long-term operational risk, right? Like I was mentioning, market saturation can be one. You're if the market is saturated, and if it's, let's say, it's a fast food chain, which is a franchise, for example, then you're competing with each other, right? So the same company, the same brand is competing with each other. So are you going to go for that or not? So that's a big question. And you know, the franchisor holds the unilateral power to end the agreement. And what are the clause to terminate the agreement? You need to know that, and so on. And the contractual obligation to pay for, let's say, renovation, updating location, regardless of the unit's profitability. So there are a lot of do's and don'ts you need to be completely aware of. That's why I always tell students that if you are interested in a franchise business as a franchisee, or even as a franchisor, whatever that is, you should consult a franchise attorney because there are a lot of legal issues associated with this business. Once you are a franchisee, you are handling a well-known brand. So and they trusted you, and it's a legal agreement. You are operating it as it's part of your legal agreement. So it's very important that you understand the legal implications, the do's, the don'ts, and there are strategic constraints and certain costs involved as well. Strategic constraints, I think we already talked about some of it, the loss of autonomy, lack of independence. Because if it's a fast food chain franchise, you cannot introduce things. Let's say there is a huge market demand for something, but you cannot introduce it. You have to go by the book. You have to follow the FDD, the disclosure document the franchisor gives you. And Also, we were talking about uh, the uh, franchise cost. So we're gonna talk about the franchise related expenses, and I think it's very important to understand. That the expense, the fees and royalties associated with a franchise business being a franchisee. So the first one is uh, you might like to think about is the initial franchise fee. It's a one-time fee to join the system, join the agreement, join the franchise system, and use the brand of the franchisor. And then you have your ongoing royalty fee, meaning you usually pay a certain percentage on a monthly basis out of the gross income. Usually, that's the idea. In addition to that, depending on what the agreement looks like, there are usually marketing fee, advertising fee, there could be a training fee, there could be a technology fee, a software fee, there could be a renewal fee paid if the franchise agreement is renewed after the initial term. There could be transfer fee. It would be paid if the franchise is sold to another owner, for example. There could be product or supply related fee. Franchisees may be required to buy approved products or inventory from the franchisor or franchisors approved suppliers or vendors. So very structured, you can imagine. There could be a compliance fee, there could be audit fee. It could be possible if the franchisor reviews operations or financial records and so on. And if there are like late payments, there'll be extra fee charged if royalty or other payments are not made on time. So you can imagine there are a lot of associated fees involved in addition to your revenue. So you have to pay the fee to that franchisor. That's why they are doing the business. So you have to, like I've been telling you, that you have to do your due diligence before you make any decision regarding it. And the best bet would be your own research as opposed to what the franchisor is actually telling you. I mean, you can always do your research and really make sure that what the franchisor is telling you is the reality. So again, this is what we already talked about, that there are costs involved. I just explained you all the fees. And by the way, I kind of forgot one thing, that in addition to the fees, the franchisor, like you heard in the uh, Sonic example, that they want to make sure that the franchisee has the ability, financial ability. So one way they assess the financial ability, they require some sort of net worth of the franchisee so that they are confident that the franchisee will be able to take care of the financial requirements, financial obligation, and the franchisee is in a strong and sound financial condition because they are essentially giving the brand to the franchisee. So they want to make sure that it is well taken care of. So I think this is another important thing. So in addition to regular fees, experience in that sector, and also net worth, assets, net worth, in addition to that investment that we were talking about, like one-time franchise fee is an investment, and net worth, assets, those are often required elements from the franchisor just to make sure that their brand is in safe hands. So again, the good document for you would be the franchise disclosure document. The franchisor will prepare it. It's a pretty heavy in terms of information. So, as a potential franchisee, you need to make sure that you review all the details, and that's when you can uh, consult a franchise attorney regarding the content of that FDD, the franchise disclosure document. So, things to consider. Let's recap, reiterate. Due diligence, you do your own research and analysis of the company that is uh, done before you come up with a business agreement. After the research, you decide. Um, you should thoroughly do the research and analysis to see whether it will be worthwhile to pursue this particular franchise business. Um, and then get a good idea about the potential franchise fee I was talking about, and then the royalty and the uh, other fees as well, such as technology fee, training fee, marketing fee, advertising fee, and so on. So, franchisor provides the franchisee with a lot of facility, which is true, but they will charge for those facility. Either that will be part of the overall royalty, or they may charge as a percentage separately in addition to the monthly royalty as well. So franchise fee, royalty, and a thorough understanding of the franchise disclosure document. So when we say due diligence, this is the framework you can think about. You do the market research, and then you can do the FDD, franchise disclosure document analysis. Thoroughly review the franchise disclosure document in terms of do's and don'ts. Uh, the terms, litigations, and so on, all these details, and you make sure that you understand with the market situation, the competition, whether it's a saturated market or there is a growth potential and so on. And based on all these things, you make a decision. So the main point we are trying to make here is do your research, conduct research and analysis of the company um, first before any business transaction can occur. So this is something you want to do. And in general, just recapping, in general, if you think about the pros and cons of franchise business, let's talk about a few pros one more time, just as a recap. Established brand. Why somebody would pursue the franchise business as a franchisee? That's the question, right? Established brand recognition, proven business model. The franchisor may provide training, may provide operational support, may provide marketing support, easier access to suppliers and systems, uh, lower risk than starting completely from the scratch, you can imagine, because a lot of facility will be coming from the franchisor. Franchisor will provide with guidance on location, design, operations, and we have got a good demonstration from the Sonic example, the video clip. But they exclusively say that in terms of location and operation, they do provide support. Here are some cons of a franchise business that you might like to consider. You can imagine high initial costs, high startup costs, ongoing royalty, ongoing marketing and advertising fees, limited independence, limited creativity as an entrepreneur, strict rules. Many entrepreneurs do not necessarily like these strict rules, strict operating standards, in addition to strict rules. So you might like to consider that. Um, Contract restrictions, uh, and also as a franchisee, you may not have a lot of control over suppliers. You may not have a lot of control over pricing, products, promotions. So you might like to think whether it would work for you or not. And you can imagine overall the profit would be reduced because of ongoing fees, because the constant fees you'll be paying to the franchisor. So I think these are the things you might like to think about when you think about the franchise model. But again, you don't have to become a franchisee. You can be the franchisor. Like I said, you built your business from the scratch, or you buy an existing business, you take it to the next level, you grow the business, and when it's time to expand the business, you can introduce the franchise model. And in this particular case, not as a franchisee, but as a franchisor. Uh, and I've been telling you that always obtain professional assistance when you are interested about the franchise business model, because this is a legal agreement and there are a lot of detailed information that you need to be aware of. So I think the best bet would be to seek the legal support. There are franchise attorneys who would be able to assist you with this. They'll be able to advise on legal rights, legal obligations, and so on. Um, it is a contract, it is an agreement, it is a legally bound document and operation. So I think it's very, very crucial that you the legal advice. So I think that's all I had regarding franchise business model. Uh, but in addition to franchise, I also wanted to talk about, you know, building a business as a new business, building a business from the scratch, as well as buying an existing business. So you can think about all three routes if you want to start um, a business. You have all three routes open for you. So think about what would be the uh, best option for you. So I tried to spend a lot of time on franchise in this particular recording. Uh, so if you think about franchise, try to think about the nitty-gritties, the details I tried to address that are associated with a franchise business model. Thank you very much for listening.